Crawley have come up with a stack of expectation and maybe had a bit of a rude awakening to some degree. Do you think that Wimbledon have come up without that and are slowly acclimatising?
I've spoke to Steve Evans this morning and listen, they've got a few injuries. They are a bit depleted, particularly in the back areas, but they'll be up there, don't worry about that. Wimbledon are a good side as well. I think that the expectations are not quite the same there. I think they're delighted to be back in the league, and they'll surprise a few, and they'll be competitive, good footballing team. But the expectation certainly isn't there that everyone just expects of Crawley. But that doesn't make Saturday any easier, and the fact that they got beat the other night makes it even harder as well. They'll be doubly determined to put that right, and they've got some good players that we've got to be wary of.
Probably in this division, the ground will be as full as any you'll encounter, and they're very close to the pitch at Kingstone.
Yeah, there'll be a tremendous atmosphere. They've got, I think I read earlier that they've got a decent amount of season ticket holders. So they had 4,300 there the other night. It'll be decent. Hopefully we'll take a few. You know, I don't think we've been there for quite a few years, non-league days, if you like. It'll be a good atmosphere. I've been there before, and a tough place to go. Like I said, they've got some good players. Terry Brown and Stuart Cash know the time of day. They know what the football's about. They know what it's about, and they'll have the boys ready, especially on the back of a defeat the other night.
Have they been a bit hot and cold so far?
You could say that about a number of teams, I suppose. I don't know. They're finding their feet, and it'll be a tough game. I know that for a fact. You know, I speak to Stuart quite regularly, and I know they want to beat us. I know that you always want to win your next game, especially after getting beat. So we've got to be prepared for that, and go there with the right attitude that we've shown pretty much all season. And if we do that, we give ourselves a chance and a bit of luck. Then hopefully we come away with the right result. But we certainly won't be taking them lightly. Would
you say you're 2/3 of the way through a decent week with a win and a draw so far?
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah, 4 points. We want to make it 7. You know, we try and win every game, and that'll be the same Saturday. Different circumstances throughout games might change that, but we try and win everything. And if we do so, then it'll be a decent week. Any sort of points will be at the end of a good week. So we can move on after 2 tough away trips and see where we are with the home one coming up.
Alan Bennett made the point after Aldershot that you would have liked to have seen that game out at 0-0. When it got to 2-2 on Tuesday, much as if you'd like to have gone and got a winner, was it in a sense good for you that you did see it out?
Yeah, of course it was. Yeah. That's a tough place to go, Torquay, on a Tuesday night, and we had to weather a bit of a siege is the wrong word, but you know they had a lot. It was end to end, and they had a couple of chances. Jack made a couple of good saves. We've had a goal disallowed that I've looked at on DVD, and I'm not sure it was the right decision. Yeah, I'm convinced he was onside, and that would have put the game to bed for me at 3-1. But you know, that's what happens sometimes. You don't get that decision that quite goes for you, but that's what happens. Great strike from there. That's gone through Josh's legs with him stretching to close him down, and gone in. It wouldn't have gone anywhere bar off the post. I think, you know, the keeper can't be faulted. It was just a great strike, and just, you know, a bit of luck went their way in terms of it going in off the inside of the post.
In terms of goals scored at the moment, do you think you're making more chances away than you are at home? Because again, on Tuesday there were quite a few.
Yeah, I haven't actually got stats for that, but I'm pleased with the chances we create. And I think Macclesfield at home was one where we didn't create too many. We probably only had 5-6 chances all game. I think if you look at it against MK Dons, against Crawley, against Swindon, against Torquay in the cup game, I think we've created plenty of chances at home. I don't see it being an issue. I think we just try and play our football wherever. Sometimes you've got to set your team out slightly different. I think we can be reasonably happy with the number of chances we're creating in every game that we've played. We just always want more.
And off the back of a Saturday, Tuesday, you've rotated the front three a little bit. And does Darryl come back into the?
Of course he does. Yeah. Of course he does. Yeah. I'll 1 or 2 do. You know, we'll see how they are today. We gave them a day off. We didn't get back at the ground till gone 1 o'clock on Tuesday night. So they were off yesterday. We'll see how 1 or 2 are today. 1 or 2 of them won't be doing a great deal. Just be a recovery session for the ones who've played both games. The rest of the boys will work hard and some football, some good football. And we'll just see where we are tomorrow. We'll have a look at one or two bumps and bruises that were picked up the other day, and we'll see where we go with that. We know, there won't be too many changes, but if we feel it's right that one or two need to be made, then we'll go with it.
Interesting, the fans have taken to Duffy, I think, because of his work ethic. Obviously, he got the 2 goals at Northampton, and you'd like him to nudge on again after that.
I've got, like I said, I've got 3 super quality midfield players. And others. I don't mean to disregard others, but those are my main 3 who are in the team at the moment. I think I've got 3 decent strikers as well, and Darryl was really unlucky not to play, but I just felt Jimmy had done enough to warrant his place. I think Jeff's been in really good form. I think he can be pleased with his contribution and keep expecting more from each other. And it might be that we rotate it a little bit. Might not be, but it is definitely something to think about. Like I say, Darryl was unlucky to be in a winning team and not keep his place, as was Luke. But sometimes I'll pick teams that I think are going to win games.
And just lastly, Marlon came back into the side on Tuesday. He did have another yellow. I mean, is there any danger for you of him becoming a marked individual?
I thought his booking was harsh. I thought him and Danny contributed to him getting dispossessed, but I still don't. The referee apologised. Didn't think it was he knew it was a harsh booking. I think that's why he let him off. Not let him off, but sort of didn't really. There was 1 or 2 other ones where the crowd were baying for him, and I think he had a little word rather than a yellow because he knew the first one was a bit harsh. Listen, I'm not going to take anything away from Marlon's game, but that doesn't give him the licence to just go and get booked for stupid things. I thought that the other night him and Danny passed 2 5-yard passes and allowed himself to be closed down, and my gripe with Marlon would be why allow that to happen, whether we mind the booking. I don't think it's a problem. He's a better player for having that other side to his game, but that doesn't, on the back of that doesn't give him licence to be booked after 20 minutes every game and living on a knife edge, because if that happens, then we'll have to do something about it.
I mean, ultimately, he is not a dirty player, is
he?
No.
I think I've looked through a couple of them. I think he's been harshly booked 2 or 3 times and deserved of bookings probably 3 or 4 other times. Not a problem in terms of that, but he can't think that that's his role in the team. He doesn't, and I don't see anybody thinking that. I don't see referees marking him out as he's not a hatchet man. He's not someone who's going to go around booting people. He just makes genuine, honest tackles, or challenges, if you like, that perhaps he's not been making for the last 3 or 4 years because he wants to be a player and get on the ball and spray it around. We still want to see that of him, which we did the other night in particular, but we want to see him controlled aggression as well, and he's going to get the odd referee's going to get the odd one wrong on him, because I want him to be competitive, as I want Russ, as I want Luke, as I want Birdie, as I want Theo. I want them all to be competitive, and I think one thing's for sure, Marlon alone is going some way to making sure that we don't win a Fair Play award this year.
Do you think he's looked at the way Russ goes about his game and he's tried to step up the plate in terms of challenges?
Like I said, I've said all along, I've spoke to Marlon and about his game, and myself and Neil have tried to say to him that it's not just about him hitting 50-yard passes, which he does brilliantly. It's about the ugly side. There's no point hitting 50-yard, 60-yard passes, looking a good player and playing in a team that loses every week. And we tried to add that other side to his game, that competitive edge, and I ain't going to take that away from him. But, like I said before, it doesn't give him licence just to expect to be booked and miss games, because eventually it's going to cost him his pocket, and eventually it's going to cost my team and his team. So I don't think he's got that in it. I don't think it's him living up to the tag at the minute or anything like that. I just think it's just circumstances, and he's just got to move the ball a bit quicker, and sometimes times his challenges a bit quicker.
Yeah, your phone call, Steve Evans, was that general chat, or was he interested in loan players?
No, I just spoke to Steve. I left a message for him yesterday, and he got back to me this morning. No problem.
Yeah. Is he all right? You get on all right with him now?
Yeah, I get on fine with it. We've had a history, but like I say, he's been getting a lot of bad press lately, and he's I'd like to think somebody will phone me up when we're getting a bit. So, not a problem. It's just a friendly chat about football, and that was it.
Yeah. If you look at the team, the last couple of games, you've signed 10 of the starting 11. I think Josh Lowe's the only one who's not your player. So you've sort of 2 waves of rebuilding are complete now, and it's definitely your team now, isn't it?
Yeah, of course it is. Of course it is, as it was last year. But you know, it's a constant cycle, football, and it's just where we are. I think we've got a decent squad, and just because if I've brought someone in doesn't mean that they're going to get preference over somebody that I didn't. It's not far from that. It's just I'll pick players that I think are going to go and win games, who are in form, and who can do the business on a Saturday or a Tuesday.
Did you watch Wimbledon at all when you were looking at Mo, or were you looking at
I've
when he was
seen
at Bath?
Wimbledon. Yeah, I've seen Wimbledon. I know what they're about. I haven't seen them this year live, so it'll be a good test for us because they play football. They've got good players. They have 1 or 2 ways of playing. Whether they play a diamond, whether they play 4-4-2, whatever, 4-3-3. We've got to deal with it, and we've got to make sure that we're better than them on the day.
Yeah, Jack Midson's obviously had a decent start to
Yeah.
the season. He's somebody you were
Yeah.
admirer of.
Absolutely, yeah. I think it's no secret. You know, we spoke to Jack in the summer, and he went there, and we have no problem with that. And that's just what happens. We'll be mindful of that fact on Saturday. You know, my defenders will have to know about him because he's scored goals already, and I think he's playing in more of a central role from what I can gather than he did at Oxford, and I think that's probably by listening to it. Well, seeing an interview that I read about him the other day, I think he's more happy in that. So, yeah, he's scored goals against us in the past, and we've got to make sure he doesn't score goals on Saturday.
Yeah, a couple of managers have said good things about Cheltenham this season. Dean Holdsworth and Martin Ling also said it's the best Cheltenham team he's seen. Does that mean anything to you at the moment?
It's always nice to hear good things about your team, but they've said it on the back, and we haven't beat them. So, say it at the end of the season. You know, listen, you can't stop managers saying that. You don't, you know, but as long as they're saying that at the end of the season, and we've done something, then we'll be happy.